Hello everyone, welcome to my Blue Eyes Genesys deck profile. Blue Eyes in Genesys is very powered down from how it is in TCG. A lot of its cards that normally plays are very high pointed. I say a lot, only like two, but it's enough. And then they don't have their Link one, which is honestly a pretty big loss. But this deck's still really strong. It has a lot of the tools it still has in the TCG, and it feels a lot more fair might be the wrong word, but I don't know. It's still very fun. I think this deck is still a lot of fun. Anyway, let's get into it. We're on two of the titular Blue Eyes White Dragon. This card... So there is something you might notice. We're not playing three of this card, which means we're not playing Kaibaman the Legend. And there are two reasons for that. The first is that I think playing 3 Kaibaman the Legend in this deck gives you minimum 6 normal summons, and Kaibaman the Legend isn't a particularly strong one at that, because all it does is make Spirit Dragon, whereas Sage gets you to Spirit Dragon plus Majesty, which is way better, along with just setting you up an actual resource loop. Blue Eyes White Dragon, and you also have to play an extra brick for Kaibaman the Legend. The other reason is that Kaibaman the Legend is like a $15 card, and I don't want to spend the money on that. I do think there is some stuff you could theoretically cut for Kaibaman the Legend, and I will get into what card that is when we get to it. But I do like just playing the two. I think it makes a lot of sense. And then after that, we've got our level 1 tuners. We've got 3 Sage with Eyes of Blue and 3 Maiden of White. These are both 1-card starters. Sage is your normal summon, gets you to Maiden, and then Maiden can place True Light and can summon itself back. Really crazy cards. Nothing to really say about these. You want to be finding Maiden every single game. The other really nice thing about this deck is it plays really well into both Nibiru, because in this format, there's literally no reason to be playing into Nibiru. And it plays really well into Droll, which is, the boogeyman of the format. So being able to play well into both of those both those cards is super strong. After that, we've got our spell starters. We've got 2 Wishes with 4 Eyes of Blue, 3 Bingo Machine Go, and 2 Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons. So one big thing that I'm doing that most lists aren't doing is playing 2 copies of Wishes for Eyes of Blue, because it's 33 points. So right here is 66 points. The reason I'm playing these is that Wishes is a fantastic starter and extender, but more importantly, if you play 2 of it, you have a 66% chance to find it off of your Bingo Machine Go, which is really good. Bingo Machine Go can just reveal 3 random cards that mention Blue Eyes or are Blue Eyes monsters, and then add them to your hand. 3 cards from your deck. And then this gives you about 5 more 1-card starters, sort of. Bingo Machine Go is like almost a 1-card starter. It's got a 66% chance to be one, which is better than 50. But it's also just nice to have more extenders, because you'll be revealing 2 Wishes and 1 Roar. So, Roar is still not terrible. If you have like a level 1 tune already, this does still get you to Spirit Dragon, so it's not bad. Anyway, I think these cards are really good. I wouldn't change them. Don't think there's a reason to play more Roar either. Card's good, but like summoning Blue Eyes doesn't do all that much, especially because we don't have anything like seals to like extend into. After that, we've got some extra generic spell starters. We've got 3 Piri Raise Map and 3 Where Art Thou. So I'll start with Piri Raise Map. It just lets you search it pays half your life to search a 0 attack monster from your deck. And then you cannot use the effects of that monster during that turn unless you normal summon it. So you'll be searching Sage, and then normaling Sage, and then going full combo. So this is basically just 3 more copies of Sage. And then we're on 3, Where Art Thou. So Where Art Thou, if you control level 1 monster, it lets you add another level 1 monster to your hand. And then during the end phase, you take 2,000 if you didn't normal summon it. So what this is here for is a few reasons. First off, let's say you normal Sage and it gets Veilered or Impermed. You can go Where Art Thou to search your Maiden straight out of the deck, so it's like you didn't lose anything. Or if you don't get hand trapped, or you're able to get a level 1 on board and then you don't need to extend into a maiden, you can go Where Art Thou to search. Well, okay, so either that, or if you like, let's say you are able to summon Maiden to the field, but your opponent outs your Blue Eyes, so now you don't have a combo, right? You can go Where Art Thou, search Sage. Sage can target Maiden, and then Maiden can summon your other Sage from grave, and then it'll take out the Maiden and summon a Blue Eyes from deck. So then you still get to Spirit Dragon. That's super nice. But the other thing that's crazy about this card is you can go Where Art Thou. If you control level 1 monster, you can go Where Art Thou, search a hand trap. You can search some really strong stuff. Droll, DD Crow, Veiler, really good cards off of this, which feels awesome. That being said, I think this is the most cuttable card in the list. If you wanted to, I think this is decent. You could reasonably cut like 2 of this, or not 2 of this, all 3 of these for like 2 Kaiba Man the Legend and 1 and a 3rd Blue Eyes White Dragon, if you wanted. But I really like this card. I think it is a solid extender and allows you to just end on a stronger board if you happen to go first and don't get interrupted to the point that you need to use it to extend. And then for our traps, run 1 True Light and 1 Majesty of the White Dragons. Both of these are crazy cards. True Light's super important for your resource loop. The one big downside about True Light is that if it gets banished, your grind game is kind of cooked. You no longer have a way to keep setting spells. You no longer have a way to keep summoning Blue Eyes, which sucks. Like that, you do kind of need to be doing that every turn. Majesty is probably the strongest interruption in the deck. It lets you reveal your 2 Blue Eyes to then pop 2 cards on the field. This card is recyclable with your Tyrant Dragon, so you should be able to do this most turns of the game, which is really good. Crazy, crazy cards. After that, we've got our hand traps. We've got 2 Droll and Lockbird, 3 DD Crow, 3 Veiler, and 1 Ghost Mourner. So I really like this selection of hand traps. I'm on these 3 hand traps because they're all level 1, so you can get them off of Where Art Thou. Also, Droll is 10 points, Veiler is 21 points total, and then Mourner is 3. So in total, this is, let me think, it is 34 points, which is the rest of your point total for the deck. Droll's crazy right now, of course. DD Crow is all right now. Skullmeister might be better because of the Draco Tail matchup, but banishing like Arthalion from grave isn't terrible. And it's definitely better, I think, into some other matchups like Radiant Typhoon and Onomat. Veiler, I think, is good into just about everything right now. I really can't think of a deck that Veiler is bad into. This card is at minimum doing something into every matchup. And it's searchable off of all your Blue Eyes effects, so it's not unlikely in a grind game to search like 3 of this out of your deck in one game. And then Mourner is just another copy of Veiler, and it's 3 points. It was between this or Ghost Ogre, and I just think this card's better right now. Then on to the board breakers. We're on 3 Cosmic Cyclone, 3 Enemy Controller, and 2 Dark Ruler No More. These are all alright. I like Cosmic a lot. Dark Ruler is very matchup dependent on how good it is. It's really bad in a Draco Tail, but it's really good into like, it's not terrible in a Radiant Typhoon, and it's really good into Onomat. Well, really, okay, it's solid in Onomat, because Onomat does have the Omni Trap, but it does deal with the Omni Trap, which is nice. Econ, I really like as a way to dodge interaction. If you wanted, you could also run Final Bringer the End Times instead of Econ. I think both are effectively do the same thing. It's just up to personal preference on which one you want to play. And that's it for the main deck, 40 cards. Now on to the extra deck. We've got 3 Blue Eyes Spear Dragon. This is the main card of the deck. This allows you to access your toolbox of Light Dragon Synchro monsters. And if I'm being honest, this is the card you're going to end on every single game. Ideally, you're making this every single turn to keep putting up interruptions. Phenomenal card. After that is the set of Light Dragon Synchro Tuner monsters. We've got 2 Blue Eyes Ultimate Spear Dragon. We've got 1 Azure Eyes Silver Dragon, 1 Light Storm Dragon, 1 Ancient Fairy Life Dragon, 1 Ancient Fairy Dragon, and 1 Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, along with, we're on 1 Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, which isn't a Light Dragon Synchro, but we can climb into it by using, like, AFD or Black Rose Moonlight, and then synchroing with those with a level 1 tuner to then make clear Crystal Wing. So Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit is really good for making a better grind game, because this can get you back a Light Dragon synchro at the end phase when it gets destroyed. And then it's an Omni Negate as well, which is crazy. Azure Eyes is really good if you get hit with something like a Raigeki. This allows you to always have follow-up, or at least attempt to have follow-up. Lightstorm Dragon is really good as back row removal. Ancient Fairy Life Dragon is really good for OTKing, because you can swing 25 with Spear Dragon, and then tag it out for Ancient Fairy Life Dragon, which will summon in defense, and then this can attack while in defense position, so you can deal another 3,300 damage. Ancient Fairy Dragon is just good for climbing into Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, and it can be used to, like, theoretically pop a field spell. I don't know if that'll come up, but it could. And then Black Rose Moonlight Dragon is just a monster bounce. And then Crystal Wing's just a good card we could make out of either of these two. And then after that, we've got our Blue Eyes Fusions, the two Blue Eyes the Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, and then two Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon. We are on these because we're on 2 wishes, so we can use 2 copies of wishes to equip a second Neo Blue Eyes and then summon a second Tyrant Dragon, which does come up pretty much every game that goes into a grind. So I think you do need these if you're going to play 2 copies of wishes. Anyway, I will show off like a basic 1-card combo. I imagine most people know how this goes, but I might as well show it for the people who don't. We'll start with a copy of Sage with Eyes of Blue and a discard. So we'll go Sage for our Maiden. We'll go Maiden effect, pitch itself to place True Light from the deck to the field. We'll then use True Light to set a copy of Wishes from our deck. Notably, if we got drolled on the Maiden search, we could always use True Light to set Roar from deck, and then that would still allow us to get a copy of. What am I thinking of? It would still allow us to get a copy of Spear Dragon onto the field. Sorry. Then we're going to go Wishes, discard the Cosmic Cyclone to search out a... You could either get a Veiler and then the Roar from deck. That would allow you to end on Veiler plus Spear Dragon. If you want to end on Majesty plus Spear Dragon, you're going to add Sage and the Majesty to hand. We're then going to go Sage, target Sage to send it to grave, and then summon a copy of Blue Eyes from the deck. That'll trigger Maiden in grave to summon it back. We will then synchro with these two to make our copy of Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, and then we will set the Majesty and pass. So this is the Graveyard Negate with Spirit Dragon, the Majesty pop 1, and then the Spear Dragon tags out for one of our Light Dragon synchros on our opponent's turn. So there's a lot of interaction. Also, we can use True Light to keep summoning a Blue Eyes every single turn, which will also summon Maiden back. Or we could use this to get our other copies of our spells. Since we didn't go through Roar, we could set a Roar for next turn, so on and so forth. Really, really good stuff. I like this deck a lot. I think it is one of the only decks in the format that has like an all-right Draco Tail matchup. And in general, I don't think this deck has like very many bad matchups. I think it's just very well matched into everything. It plays really well into all of the big, powerful hand traps that people are playing right now. It does play bad into some hand traps. Ghost Ogre's really rough, but like Ghost Ogre's not a super popular card right now, so I don't think that's a problem. Really, really like this deck. Really, the only downside about it is it's pretty low ceiling. As you saw, the end board was only like 3 interruptions, and one of them might not even come up in a match. Like the Graveyard Negate is kind of matchup dependent on if it even matters. But it's a good deck. I think this deck is very, very solid. I would absolutely recommend taking it to a locals or even like a YCS side event. I think it could do well at that. I think this is very much a good tier 2 strategy for this format. Anyway, I will see you all next time. Goodbye.